Donald Trump and I don't like this title. Trump defeats Harris. Listen, Donald Trump is officially our 47th president of the United States. Well, he's president elect. And it looks like Amber Rose just won her $15,000 bet. Who does she beat? Who she bet?
No, she made it on those apps where like you can flip it and win more if he wins. So she won. I think it was like almost 30,000.
Oh, here it is. Well, yep, she bet 15,000, so she made 28,000. And listen, I hope that the price we're all getting ready to pay is worth that 28,000. I'm sure Amber Rose will have a place in the administration. She'll be like,
you think?
The deputy social director or something. She's gonna be over there. She
bring back slut walks.
Listen, no, she's grown past that. Well, despite the outcome, Kamala Harris had just over 100 days to make history, 100 days, and become the first African American and Indian American female president. And she still made us all proud. Cardi B was very sad, even though she too was proud about the outcome with Harris losing. As you know, she pulled up to an event to speak on behalf of the vice president. And this is what she said on social media.
I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm sad. I hate. I don't know. I'm just really annoyed. I'm really annoyed. So we've been watching this for like hours now. I haven't even recorded yet. Like we just been watching for hours. I see that Kamala didn't come out to talk at Howard, and as strong as she is, no matter what, I know that she's probably emotional right now. I know there's probably a lot going on in her mind, and I know she's not listening to this, but she eventually will see it. I just hope that she knows that no matter what happened tonight, that millions of people are proud of her. I'm proud of her. Women around the world are proud of her. Women of color are proud of her. And, you know, I'm not even going to, y'all know how I feel in the beginning of the year. I did not want to vote for nobody. She changed my mind. I feel like she was very honest. I feel like she said the things that I wanted to hear. When I look at her in her face and when she was talking to me, I really felt like she was very genuine. I feel like she was not playing no games. And she had 100 days to do all of this. And she woke this nation up. She woke this nation up. I feel like there was a lot of things that went wrong. I feel like last year they kept her too much in the background. And a lot of people were asking, but what was Harris doing? What was Harris doing? And I know for a fact that she just didn't have much power last year. I feel like they kept her a lot in the background last year. And I feel like they put her in a position this year to practically save the day. And she did a lot. Academics at the Trump record. Academics is crazy. And I'm proud of her, and I hope that she's proud of herself. No matter what happens tonight, this is gonna always be. This is like one of the most unforgettable elections.
I mean, the truth is, yeah, she was kept in the background. She was the vice president. Most vice presidents aren't really in the front, right? So there's that. But also at the end of the day, I feel like her team just didn't listen. I mean, there was a lot of us that were talking and trying to help for years, trying to really put her out there. I don't really know what goes on behind the scenes within that bubble. But, you know, I do blame her team. You know, I don't blame her. I think she did for her to do what she was able to do in 100 days was phenomenal. So for that, Kamala, I'm going to give you your flowers. Because it took a lot. I mean, I know just doing a little city council campaign in a district, what that was. Zigzagging across the state for work. You're zigzagging all over the country, still doing your day job. And I mean, at 60 years old, even though you look beautiful, I mean, my hat off to you because you did that. Mm-hmm. And you actually restored some hope that there was a chance for the Democratic Party. I also think people are over the politics of Democrat and Republican. People just want to gravitate to whatever seems real. And I will say, while I won't say Trump is real, I will say he comes off relatable to his base. He feeds his base what they want, and he really works to gaslight people into anger and fear, and that clearly won. Now, other emotions that ranged that night went from sad to mad, frustrated, and ultimately we were all disappointed. Now, America has elected a president who's been called the worst president of the United States in history, who's been impeached twice, who's a convicted felon and a convicted rapist, and who has tried to stage a coup on the whole country. Remember that January 6th, where people were climbing up the building, a woman got killed, officers were hurt and also killed. Well, he also took away abortion rights. And when asked about how he voted on Florida's abortion measure, he told reporters, just stop talking about that. He wanted to talk about something else because it was an inconvenience to bother him with something like abortion. Women's bodies, ill. He then attacked other women with their rights and attacked minorities with racist rhetoric. But now he's going to be your president. It says a lot about the country. It says a lot about who we are. He said he's going to do a mass deportation day one. So all the Latinos who are related to people here that may be here, unlawfully, they on their way out of here. Just mind-boggling how in a country where women vote and want to have control over their bodies, more women voted for a man who said no. What does that say about the country?
It was a cultural vote, in my opinion. So the majority of those women voted in favor of preserving their position in power in this country, as opposed to voting in a woman who was actually more concerned with the power and position of a woman to maintain control over her own body and autonomy of her body. It's disappointing.
Well, I remember back in the day when they asked Kamala Harris if America was racist, she said no. Yeah. Is this proof that it could be? Because I could tell you, some of y'all walking around here with a whole different level of privilege now. I got on a flight, and this man got on there with a Trump hat, and he was moving a little reckless through that aisle, bumping into people, not apologizing, almost as if wanted to have some type of confrontation. Mm-hmm. And so that's the kind of energy that this MAGA movement brings. Okay, and I don't know what making America great again even means, because like, when has it been great if you look at history? Are you talking about the economy? Are you talking about, because in terms of our lens, I don't know. Well, reacting to the news, comedian and friend to the Jason Lee Show, D.L. Hughley, made an interesting point about 4 years of fear. Take a look. We have elections every 4 years in this country. It's completely normal for one side to be disappointed in losing. What's not normal is to be in fear after one side wins. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, again, that's why I decided to run. That's why a lot of people are interested in politics now. I'm sure that this win is going to fuel the Democratic base, and people are going to, over the next 2 years until the Senate and House go through their elections, are going to see for the first time ever what it looks like to have a Republican White House, Senate, House, and Supreme Court. Is that scary?
That's extremely scary. It's extremely scary for multiple reasons. It's extremely scary.
You all that are TikToking and vaping and running around trying to figure out how to be famous or whatever, y'all better dial into what's happening. Because I'm going to tell you, my passport got a whole bunch of blank pages on it, and I know I'm an elected councilman. At least we'll be safe in Stockton, but the rest of the country, I just don't know. Well, Van Jones also spoke of the women, LGBTQ, and migrants in America feeling, quote, hurt. Listen.
I'm thinking about the people who are not a part of anybody's elite who are hurting tonight. There are African-American women who know a little bit about being talked down to and know a little bit about having their economic dreams crushed, who tried to dream a big dream over the past couple of months. And tonight they're trading in a lot of hope for a lot of hurt. And they were hoping that maybe this time, one of their own could be seen as worthy. And once again, they're facing rejection. And that hurts. They thought tomorrow morning they're going to walk out with their shoulders back a little bit, maybe able to breathe for the first time and feel like they belong someplace. They did everything that they knew how to do. And it's going to be harder than it should be tomorrow for them to hold their heads up. And they're not the only people who are hurting tonight. If you're a parent of a trans kid, your child's face was used as a springboard to power for somebody. There are going to be people tomorrow, we're going to be handing clothes at the dry cleaners to people who don't have papers. There are going to be people who are going to be cleaning your teeth tomorrow who don't have papers. And they're terrified tonight. And so it's easy to blow this off. Oh, look at the elites. They're going to get their comeuppance. It's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare. And those people didn't deserve to be respected and held and talked to. Those are the people who are going to pay the price for whatever dollar.
Y'all got what y'all asked for. That's all I could say. I'm going to be watching the news and hearing all your cries and all your frustrations. See, I'm not a woman, so I don't have a uterus. I don't have a birthing canal. I ain't got those issues. But I feel for women. I stand for women. I defend women and their right to decide what to do with their body. I don't see me getting married anytime soon. Then again, that changes every 30 days. So I might want to get married. But if I do, it'll be before January. Because after January, that right can go away. That's what happens when you have a House, a Senate, a White House, and the Supreme Court all controlled by a party that has their own beliefs. Project 2025, they're starting to print it up now. He said he wanted to get rid of Department of Education. What is that all going to look like? What is America going to look like? He has presidential immunity. He can say that Kamala Harris and the Clintons plotted to kill him, so he had him assassinated. And guess what? Won't go to jail. And that conviction he got, that's going away. That's going away. He's the president. Y'all asked for it. Y'all asked for it. And I'm just going to sit back and watch, do my 4 years, try to hold it down in Stockton, California. We're going to pass an ordinance that Trump is not welcome.
You know what?
But yeah, you get what you asked for. The morning after the election day, Trump's campaign press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, now she didn't leave it to nobody but her to go out there and tell everybody what his day one plan is. So if any of you have anybody in the country that is scared about being deported, this is what she had to say.
People delivered a resounding victory for President Trump, and it gives him a mandate to govern as he campaigned, to deliver on the promises that he made, which include on day one launching the largest mass deportation operation of illegal immigrants that Kamala Harris has allowed into this country. It includes drill baby drill and expediting permits for nuclear, for fossil fuels, for an above all energy approach that's going to bring down the cost of living in this country. It includes on day one bringing Ukraine and Russia to the negotiating table to end this war and returning to the very tough sanctions on the Iranian regime so we can stop the chaos in the Middle East. The American people are clearly longing for the policies of Donald Trump. They despise the policies that the Harris-Biden administration have implemented over the past 4 years. And the Harris-Biden administration will go down as the worst, weakest, most corrupt administration in our nation's history.
Well, I see what you did there. It's not the Harris-Biden administration. It's the Biden-Harris administration. These are policies that he created. These are policies that he enacted. But you try to put it all on her because that's the thing. You guys want her to look like a failure because you do know she's strong enough to come back if she had the right amount of time and probably be a threat to the Republican Party. You know, they have to think about what the next 4 years look like because they want to keep Republicans in office. And so Trump, I think, is going to be a different Trump this time than he was the last time. He's still going to be a tyrant, but he's not going to be as bad as the last time because they want to preserve the White House. And there's no way you'll be able to do that. If he gets in there and does, yeah, he's going to do it.
He's going to do it.
I just think it's weird. On paper, it's very interesting because Kamala worked all three branches of the government. She had everybody come out, Taylor Swift, Jennifer Lopez, Cardi, Beyonce, and all those millions of like fans and followers that buy everything they do, go to every concert, and to still have her lose is just like, I don't know if that means that celebrities don't have that big of an impact anymore, or when it comes to politics, it's just really crazy.
Well, I think people watching all these celebrities get dressed up in their clothes and go out there and do that realize that they're not going to put gas in their car, they're not going to put food on their table, they're not going to pay their rent. Like people are concerned about real things. I think it all boils down to messaging. Like, what is your message? What is your plan? I don't think she really sold people on her economic plan. She talked about it here and there, but she didn't really sell people on. People weren't bought into it. When they thought about safety in the country, nobody bought into it. And the reality is, she's just like the person I ran against. She has to defend the last 4 years. Whereas I could look at it and say, oh, we had a lot of good things.
Mhm.
I also, think about the people who can't afford to live in their city or in their country. In this country with inflation, gas, and everything else, it's just out of control. Energy. So yeah, and she didn't have enough. She didn't have enough time to prove to people that she was going to change it.
Mhm.
But this is also a time where we're seeing that having experience doesn't matter. Like, are you popular? Do people think you're cool? Oh my God, he got arrested. He's a gangsta. Y'all asked for it. They asked for it.
But even if she did win, wouldn't the government still be it as is because the Senate's Republican anyways?
Yeah, essentially, yes. It would have been like her in the presidency, but still having to now deal with a
Yeah.
Republican Senate and a
That would've
Republican House.
still-
So it would have been an uphill battle to push anything through.
Yeah.
But I think this will be the first time we get to fully see what happens when we don't pay attention and we put in, like you mentioned earlier, a Republican White House, a Republican Senate, a Republican House, and you already have a very, very conservative Supreme Court.
Y'all in trouble.
Trouble.
There's nobody that can sell me on. Look, and I'm somebody with money who understands, like, when it comes to taxes, I get it. Like, the Democrats are killing me. But there's bigger issues than money. There's freedoms, and there's like the rights that we fought for. Like, all of our ancestors died for something. And think about it. Like, a lot of the things that people died for, we're getting ready to undo.
Mm-hmm.
So their deaths definitely went in vain because we're not preserving the history. Well, that same morning, it was reported that Kamala Harris called Donald Trump to concede the election, to congratulate him on winning, and to discuss the importance of a peaceful transfer of power and the importance of being a president for all Americans. Well, finally, she broke her silence and gave an emotional concession speech that left Americans motivated, especially the younger generation. Take a listen.
My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright as long as we never give up and as long as we keep fighting. Look, I am so proud of the race we ran and the way we ran it. Over the 107 days of this campaign, we have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people together from every walk of life and background, united by love of country with enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future. And we did it with the knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States, and loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign, the fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do. We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence. And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea that every one of us, no matter who we are or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected and upheld. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. The fight for our freedom will take hard work, but like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it. To the young people who are watching, it is... I love you. To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before. You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. And I'll close with this. There's an adage an historian once called a law of history. Only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars, the light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service. And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
We could hear the emotion in your voice, Kamala. We appreciate everything that you've done for the country. And listen, you lost, and you're going to go on to be great, and I'm sure we'll hear from you soon. I'm sure everybody's still processing this because this is huge. I mean, we're talking about, I don't even think y'all understand. This is getting ready to be a very trying time for at least 2 years. there's a lot of work to be done to try to bring more balance to the government. You know, you have 2 years to replace folks with different people for the House or the Senate, but I don't know. I really don't know what to say.
I mean, I think it's really important for people to like. I think this is great to show how democracy should look. If you lose, if the side you choose that you supported loses, right? So everybody on this side, no one's going, they cheated. We need to overturn this. Like, that's not happening. This is what democracy looks like. But at the same time, I think we should be highlighting the promises that this man has made to give police immunity from prosecution, to make stop and frisk a federal law, to even though they say they're not going to ban abortion on a federal level, if they do, that means even in California, you don't have access to it. And that can happen when you have the Senate and the House. So it's like all of these things that people are like, oh, it won't really affect me because I'm just worried about the money in my pocket. These are real issues that will affect you when they are voted on. So,
well, thankfully, we're still in a democratic state for some regard. I mean, taxes wise, you're killing me, but there's still protections. And then your city still has protections. And I can tell you right now, don't bring all this crazy shit to Stockton because we ain't dealing with that. All right, well, bye.